Why is it important to share your personal stories of activism? I'm here with Bex Caputo, hopefully I said that right, with Bex from BexTalkSex.com, and I'm Kathy Bartulli from the IntimacyDojo.com. Thank you so much for being here, Bex. You're speaking at Woodhull Sexual Freedom Summit in a couple months, and you're going to be talking about your stories of personal stories of activism. I think that's amazing and inspiring, and I want to hear more.
Yeah, so what I'm talking about is how when you share your stories, that in and of itself is a form of activism. And that by sharing our stories, we create empathy, and that can be a driving force for change.
Yeah. How did you get here? Like, what brought you to the place where you're talking about activism, not only just talking about activism, but using stories to inspire other people?
I think for a very long time, I looked at what I did and the way I share my stories and other people's stories as like frivolous. I didn't even really call it storytelling.
It
It was
wasn't like
just,
you weren't marching and making.
right, I was just talking about stuff. And like, I didn't know how that was valuable until I started getting the feedback from people and saying that they felt seen or that they thought they were alone. And these sort of, the messages a lot of sex educators get. But it kind of emphasized to me the importance of what I was doing
Yeah.
and the way that like that it is a form of activism and it is this like powerful form of vulnerability, and it's valuable in a way that it doesn't always seem right at the surface.
Yeah, it's incredibly valuable. I share a lot of times. I'm very shy, and I'll share to people I didn't date for 14 years because I didn't think anyone would want a bigger person. And all the time I have people coming up to me that maybe they're 10 pounds overweight, and they're like, oh, I hear you. Like, I thought I was the only one that felt that way. And if you can do it, I can do it. And I think we need that role modeling. We need that inspiration because it's really tough out there sometimes.
Yeah, one of the things I really love is this idea Kate Canfield introduced me to, which is the idea of being a beacon of permission.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, just openly and authentically living, and that creates space for other people to do the same. And maybe they're not out on the street corner talking about their kinks or whatever, the way I do sometimes. But they
As
have...
you demonstrate with the toys hanging behind you, I love
exactly.
that.
Like, hello, welcome to my room. But yeah, like maybe it doesn't look the way it does for me, but seeing other people doing it gives people a moment to be like, oh, that thing that I thought was weird or scary or shameful is okay. Because if this person can talk about doing it, then maybe I can at least do it.
Tell me, why are you excited to share this at Woodhull? I love this space, so I'm curious why.
I love Woodhull. So Woodhull was one of the first conferences I went to. This will be my 4th or 5th year there, I think. And it's just a really, really great event for me. It's the one time a year I get to see so many of these people, because like so many people that matter to me all kind of congregate for this one event. And it's really powerful, and it creates this little space that doesn't exist anywhere else.
Right.
And everyone is really motivated and really passionate about what they're working towards, and I get to meet and spend time with all of these people, and it's just, I love it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like capital N networking, right? It feels like socializing and spending time with all these people, and you're making all of these really valuable connections when you do that, but it doesn't have like the pressure that like networking events sometimes have.
Yeah. Before we send people off to go register for Woodhull if they haven't already, what's a tip if someone wants to get better at being an activist or sharing their story, or like what would you tell them? How would they start?
Take baby steps, like you were talking about earlier, right? Share one thing with one person that you think is interesting or helpful or part of your experience. Also, like reflect on your own experience, because it's easy to forget all of the ways that we are different and all the things we stand for, and reflect a little bit and see what stories you have to tell and which ways you can kind of share that with even just one person. But getting a glimpse into someone else's life is super powerful.
It really is, and I love that. I think sometimes we forget because we grow, and then it's like, oh no, I was always this competent. And you look back and you're like, no, I wasn't. 3 years ago, this was terrifying. And like going back and linking to the journey can make the story very engaging for people. Because we all struggled. So Thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing this and for putting this together. I think this is going to be so powerful.
I'm really, really excited to bring it to Woodhull, and thank you for having me here to talk about
Oh,
it.
it's my pleasure. If you're listening to this and you have questions or comments, please leave them below. We'll try to get back to you. Thanks, Bex.
Bye.